Hello, everyone. Today I want to talk about something that's way out of my realm, and it's birds of prey. Now, before I go on, it's way out of my realm because mainly I just don't really watch TV. Even when I was a kid, I never got into television per se. If anything, it would be sports, watching like my teams, but not something like this for sure. And I was more into music. If you know me by now, it's music, music, music. Then video games and other things, but not TV. And so I happened to get this from a community sale that was probably in another town next to me at the time, a few years back. And this one house was selling all his movies, and he had a box of them, and majority were like TV series. So he saw me kind of going through and picking out like one or two. They had like NCIS, CSI, stuff that I haven't watched, but I decide to maybe start collecting in a sense of getting trying to get the whole series. Then maybe down the road, like binge watch like from start to finish. That was the plan anyway, and still have a lot of these series, and I just never even started watching. But anyway, so at that time I was thinking about it, and I think the guy saw me. He's like, "Hey, tell you what, I'll make each series $1 for you, and but you got to buy the whole box. So you got to buy all of it." And counting all of it and leaving, I think it was like 40 series in there, 40 TV series. So $40. I remember spending $40. Put it this way. And one of them happened to be this, and this was like the out of the ordinary in the sense that everything else was more like the procedural TV, like the CSI, NCIS, that type of stuff, and then the offshoots of like CSI, like Miami, things like that. And then this, for some reason, this is in there. And when I saw this, I'm not gonna watch this. But just about last year, not too long ago, near the end of last year, I decided to pick this up and watch it. When I looked at it first, what is this exactly? And then when I realized it's the complete series, I'm like, what the heck? Nothing to lose. If watching the first two episodes or so, and if I don't like it, I just toss it. I not stop watching and then just do something else. But when I picked this up, not knowing anything about it, after the first couple episodes or so, I thought it wasn't bad at all. It was to a point where I decided to, for the weekend, just finish this off, watch the whole thing. And I came away thinking, hey, this ain't bad at all. Now, I know this is a WB series, lasted only a year. And even as a series for young adults, even it was targeted for me at the time. That would probably be late '90s or something like that. I would never been watch or been into it. I know they had series like that were popular. Was Smallville? I think came around the same time. Charmed. Charm was that on the W? I'm pretty sure that was Charmed, and I'm thinking Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I think they all came out around the same time. And for some reason, this didn't make it. The other three I mentioned were pretty successful. I think they lasted at least 5 years, if I'm not mistaken. This one year, and one and done. And I think from there could be many reasons. I think maybe the premise of this being she's supposed to be the daughter of Batman and Catwoman, I think, if I recall. And then not having a main character, like a well-known main superhero character like Batman in it, might have thrown a lot of people off. Like maybe it's not as popular because of that. Maybe the actors here aren't all that appealing. I don't know. Then again, Buffy, Charm, Smallville. I didn't know the actors at the time anyway to begin with, so I don't think that would have played a part. But You know, that's another thing too, and maybe DC Comics or comic book adaptation usually they're off of a particular comic book series, and maybe Birds of Prey wasn't really following the comic book, the actual comic book series, directly, and maybe that threw some things off. I really don't know. I'm not a comic book person per se. I know about Batman, Spider Man, things like that in the Marvel MCU to a certain point, but not deep enough in any way of comic books to know, hey, if this followed it closely or not. I've no clue at all. But just from a casual watcher like myself, and not really even following or watching Smallville or the other series that were actually more popular at the time, not knowing about those, just basically picking this up independently and just watching it, and it's not bad. It's actually, first of all, again, I watched the entire series, so it actually got my attention. The story, I mean, for a young adult type of target audience, it is what it is. I think that's yay and nay. I don't know. It didn't really appeal to me much. There are some good stories in here. Then some hit or miss for me. The actors, I'm okay with. Now, character here, the Huntress, she's not bad. And then the Oracle, her, she's okay too. I'm a miss on her, mainly because her story doesn't really come out, her origin story, her background. And I think maybe because they're trying to save it for the second season, if it would have came out, but it to me she's kind of out of place. I think her name was Dinah, if I'm not mistaken. But the Huntress here, she was pretty good. And one of the reasons why I like this show and was able to watch it is the action sequences. Now, this came out in 2002. So this basically came during the time when, when The Matrix came out in, what was it, like 98 or something like that? And then when it got really popular, everyone started trying to follow like the choreography of the action sequences, the camera the movements of the camera and stuff like that. And then you got stuff like coming out, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So the martial arts, especially the wire fu type of martial arts, was really, really popular, for sure, during the early 2000s. And this show took advantage of it. I mean, they literally took advantage of it. Basically every episode, she had some pretty good action sequences in there. Now, were there like Jet Li, Jackie Chan's good? No, but when you compare it to other, let's say, and we'll compare it to any female Americanized shows or movies, and the first thing that comes to my mind was Charlie's Angels. Charlie's Angels took advantage of the Matrix a lot, a lot, and the Charlie's Angels. So this is with Lucy Liu, Cameron Diaz, and I forgot, Drew Barrymore. Yeah, Drew Barrymore was in it, and they did a lot of the like Matrix style action sequences as well. But you could tell they're just they're not close or any good. It's kind of hilarious watching it. But Birds of Prey, this chick here, not bad, not bad. I mean, it's again not Jet Li, technically accurate or anything like that, but good enough, good enough. I mean, good enough for me to, hey, not bad. It's not a bad way she's doing. She's doing these flips, like action sequences, kung fu style action sequences, and I tell you what, that got me. That's one of the main things that got me hooked into this, and made me watch it through the end, was because of the action sequences. So, again, the episodes themselves, I think half of the series episodes were pretty good, and combine it with her action sequences and some decent acting per se. I think it's that's why I came away with this thinking, hey, this ain't a bad series. And I kind of wish, after finishing it, kind of wish there was a second season at least, maybe to flush out the other characters, or all the characters really. But Dinah's character, the one I said that I don't think she really fit that well in the series, but maybe flush her out more and maybe make it so that she fits better. But I guess it is what it is. And, you know, this not being successful to make it to the second season, I felt kind of, you know, sad a little bit, because, you know, this had potential. This had potential, especially from a person who don't really follow this kind of stuff at all, but was able to watch all 13 episodes. And, you know, now, having said all that, I'm sure there are people who've watched this or who follow like the WB programs and could tell like right off the bat, yeah, the acting is bad, the storytelling is bad, the premise is bad, and all that. When you compare it to something like Smallville, which lasted what, like 10 years or something like that. But Smallville, again, as I mentioned, Smallville is it's a Clark Kent, if I recall it, a Clark Kent origin story. So it's Superman. We're talking about Superman there. This ain't it. There's no Batman, anything like that. So the characters I don't know, never heard of from a comic book perspective. So maybe that's one of the big reasons. Maybe they've also been trying to duplicate like Charmed, or, you know, that type of archetype where you got the female lead in a supernatural world and they're like heroes, superheroes type thing. Charmed, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Maybe they're trying to follow that archetype, but just not good enough. I don't know, because those were pretty successful too, if I recall. But anyway, at the end of the day, I thought this was a decent, entertaining to a certain point series that, for me, I have no business watching because it's just not my thing. But I watched it anyway, and I watched it to the end, and it's not bad. It's not bad at all. I can't say anything bad about it, because I know the target audience and what it's supposed to be, and I thought it was, for what it is, or for what it was, I thought it was good. I thought it was good. Let me know what you think. If you've never seen it, you got a weekend to burn, like really burn, give this a shot. Even if you're not into young adult type of shows, or, you know, that type of thing, comic books. But hey, after 1 or 2 episodes, nothing to lose. I mean, besides the 1 or 2 episodes that you lose time with. But anyway, decent, pretty good actually, pretty good, surprisingly good, especially coming from me. So anyway, that's all I've got to say. Thanks, bye.